All right, so moving on now to something a little less dark, but also sticking with overseas now. So we're gonna move from England and we're gonna go to France now. So we're gonna talk about season one of the Eddy, which okay, so I would confess I didn't watch a trailer for this. I just saw it being mentioned as upcoming show on Netflix. But the reason why I wanted to see it mainly was the name attached to it, and that would be our boy Damon Chazelle,
Right.
right? You know what I mean? Who has made I would say three great films over the past decade. That would be
Yep.
Whiplash, La La
Yeah.
Land. I mean, I know you have your issues with that movie, but I still give credit where credit is
Yeah.
due. I still think it's a fantastic film. I
Yeah.
think that Chazelle pours heart and soul into this. This is why he won a Best Director Oscar for that film.
Exactly. Yeah. He deserved it. No, I think he deserved the Oscar for it. Yes. Everything else, right?
Yeah, especially Emma Stone,
Right.
which I know some you can't let go of. Emma Stone with an Oscar for that, but hey. And then of course, First Man, right, which I remember being one of your favorites of 2018, right?
Right.
So yeah, I mean, man has done his thing, but because the music, because the series itself is centered on music, mainly jazz music, I was like, okay, this is Damien returning to his roots here, because yeah, you could tell this man loves music, right? He loves jazz music, right? So it's like, okay,
Right.
this is a new show that he's directing, but actually he didn't really direct it. He just directed two episodes actually, the first two episodes of this, right? But the real person behind the scenes is a guy by the name of Jack Thorne, right? He is a screenwriter and playwright, just coming from England. I'm not familiar with his movies actually, but I saw that he made the films that he made were War Book, Long Way Down, both of which are British films actually. So yeah, this was actually the first time I'm hearing about Jack Thorne, right? But yeah, he's the creator of this. He didn't really direct any episodes of this, but yeah, Damien Chazelle did the first two. And also
Right.
another name that attracted me to this was Andre Holland.
Okay. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, who
Moonlight.
was
Yeah.
sorry in Moonlight. He
Moonlight.
was in one of
And
your
well, one
favorite
of my favorite films, uh,
High
High
Flying
Flying
Bird.
Bird.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. He was in that as well. And I mean, yeah, he is a fantastic actor. I would say he's getting up there as like the next Denzel Washington. I want to bring that up too because
Yeah.
at some points in this series here he channels Denzel, especially early Denzel. But I'll get to that in a bit,
Right.
right? So what it is 8 episode season, right? I'm not sure if we're gonna get a second season for this. I'd like to think so because there is kind of an open ending here. But I mean, I can understand if they just leave it where they leave it, right? But that's all I'll say, right? But yeah, so it's a French American co-production, right? So it's set in Paris, right? So not only is there English dialogue, but there's also French. There's Arabic at a point in time.
Right.
Arabic, sorry. There's Polish as well too. There's actually like one or two scenes where characters will speak, Polish, right? But it's mainly English and French, right? So yeah, you had to read subs for this one for sure. And what it's about is it's centered on a jazz musician. His name is Elliot Udo, who's played by Andre Holland. He was a former pianist and
Right.
singer. But what he does now is that he runs a jazz club in Paris called the Eddy, right? He has his own band, and
Okay. Well,
each episode.
it making sense now why earlier you talking about jazz now. It making sense why Darren Chiselle involved, right?
Exactly, exactly. Because yeah, this is that guy who loved jazz. I mean, you saw that
Yeah.
with Whiplash, right? But yeah,
Good
and
movie.
then yes, right,
And
right,
La
right. And then
La
of course
Land.
with La La Land with Ryan Gosling's character working at this
Yeah.
club and all that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, so guy owns a club. He has his own band, and what essentially he does is that he just composes the music. He writes the song, composes the melodies and stuff like that. One of the members of the band, right? He is a Middle Eastern guy living in Paris, right? His name is Farid. He's basically the singer in the group. I believe he does trumpet as well. About is either trumpet. I think he plays the trumpet, but mainly he's a singer, right? And what happens is that, well, he ran afoul with some, I want to say, like, these gangsters, basically, right? These guys who involve in counterfeit money and embezzlement and all that kind of stuff, right? But it was just mainly to have money to keep the club afloat, basically, to keep the place afloat, right? Okay, yeah, I mean, they're
Right.
doing this thing to make money, but in true modern musical, scenarios, yeah, you know what I mean. They had to struggle, they had to hustle, they had to do what they have to do, right? So yeah, you know what I mean. One thing to lead to the next, some counterfeit money is brought into the company, unbeknownst to Elliot. And then, well,
Right.
unfortunately, Farid loses his life, right? He's killed right outside the club, right? And Elliot wants to know what's going on, right? The same gang guys seek him out, and you're like, oh, well, we want to know where the money is and all that kind of stuff. So he has to deal with that. But at the same time, no, and in true films based off of films based modern films, sorry, based on music, yeah, he is a very flawed character. What I mean, he has this kind of tendency of just being the having the last say in everything, right? You know what I mean, he's very arrogant. He could get rather argumentative with people, and a lot of friendships have ended and restarted because of that, right? You know what I mean, he cuts people off and like that, right? So case in point, you know what I mean, he was married before. The actress who plays her is Melissa George. I didn't even know that she was in the show as well. It's like, okay, she's in this, right? So yeah, that's his
Right.
ex. And what happens is that their daughter Julie, who is played by Amandla Stenberg, who I didn't even know was in the show. She well,
Stanbridge.
last time I saw her was in a movie that unfortunately I missed out, but I heard great things about, called "The Hate You Give." She was in that. She was the lead in that
Okay.
film.
All
Yeah,
right. Right. Right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. That's no.
She's
Okay.
a chick
He
from
was.
Darkest Minds and Hunger Games. You know
Right. 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 Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Rue. But
yeah, her, right? Yes, that's her. That's her.
but what? No. Right. So right, the movie. I think she got into some trouble when she was. It had this some Nazi movie. I think she was in that.
Was that a Hate You Give? I believe it was, or not.
No. No. Not Hate. Hate You Give was something else. I
All right.
think so. I don't. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Like I really do need to check her filmography a little bit more. Like I haven't checked out her stuff in quite some time. So I was surprised that she was in this, right? But anyway, she plays Julie, and she actually flies over to Paris to visit her dad at first, right? But what happens is that she reveals that, well, her mom now, who actually remarried, kinda doesn't want her in a sense. So
Right.
it's kind of a long story, right? It's more like who wants custody of who, right? So Elliot, being the guy that he is, wants custody of his daughter, but what I mean, at the same time, she at first acts rather arrogant. What I mean, she doesn't want to go to school. We learn later on that she was a drug abuser and all that kind of stuff. So what I mean, she's just this wayward child, and it's just kind of her kind of coming to terms with who she is and all that kind of stuff. So Elliot, being the guy he is barely in her life, and over the course of the season, he kind of understands that he has to be there, right? Even though in one crucial episode, her mom returns, and what I mean, she wants her to come back to the States, but it's like, I kind of want my child. So is that all that kind of stuff going on, right? But the show itself isn't entirely based on him, right? You have the other band
Right.
members. So we have his ex, Maya, who is played by Joanna Kulig. She is, the last time we saw her actually was in Cold War.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
she's one of the main players in that movie, right? Well, the romance in the film, yeah, that was her, right?
Yeah.
And something I didn't even know about, well, until I saw this, she could sing, right? She could really,
Right.
really, 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 really sing, but my God. Yeah, so she is the
But she was.
yeah,
I think she's in Cold War. Yeah? Did she? Or dance?
I um I'm trying to remember. I think she sang in it. I think she sang in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
She probably did dance too, but yeah, because she was into music. Well, in that movie, she was
Right.
um a performer
Talented.
actually. Yeah, so I try to remember
Right.
if it was singing. I think it was singing or dance, or some one of the two. I really should rewatch, Cold War. I know it came out on
Right.
Criterion Collection through the criteria collection, but I should really check it out. But yeah, she is Elliot's ex. They had a relationship while he was in Paris at the time, and well, even though they're not together, she's still part of the band, right? Also, we have let's have other characters involved, right? So we have well, the bass player. He has yeah. So what each episode does is that they will zero in on a particular member of the band, right? So, or should say a
Right.
main character in the show. So it starts off with Elliot, then it goes into Julie, then to other players in the band and other characters in the show. You have Farid's wife, Amira. She gets her own episode. You have like the bass player, like I said before, he is a ex drug addict. Well, he's kind of on again, off again drug user, all that kind of stuff. This is really poignant story involving him and a woman that he was with, and she suffered a miscarriage, and then as a result, he just broke off the relationship. And then, well, as he meets up with her, it's the day of her wedding, so he actually has to go and perform at her wedding, and it's just the
Oh,
feelings there. Really, 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 really poignant. That was actually one of the best episodes, I would say, right? We have
you still
sorry.
take that job, pressure. I see.
I,
You take that job still, right?
I
Pressure.
know, right? But once again, it's the whole hustling thing there. It's like, oh, here's a gig, and well, actually, it was the guy, the pianist in the band itself, right? I forgot his name right now. His name escapes me. Yeah, he got the gig. So it's like, okay,
Right.
well, I guess I had to go to perform because we got to make that dough, right? You know what I mean? We have the this woman who plays drums. Her name is Katerina. She has her own story as well. Really, poignant as well to mainly involving her dad who is on life support, and she has to take care of him, even though in the past he was, sexually, abusing her and just really grim stuff
Wow.
like that. Yeah. There's also a guy who runs the bar. His name is Sim. He also is of Middle Eastern descent, and well, he and Julie start a relationship, but he's going through some drama as well too. You know what I mean? Mainly involving some guys well, the same guys actually who, well, pretty much want to muscle in on Elliot's business, right? So yeah, they try to
Right.
threaten him. You know what I mean? They threaten him with acts of violence, all that kind of stuff. So there's all this stuff going on, right? But what really holds them together, and well, this is the gel of the show itself, is the music itself, is the jazz music,
Right.
is the passion for what they do. And yeah, that's essentially what the Eddie is about. So me going in, what I mean, me going in not knowing what the show is about, just thinking it was just gonna be about jazz. It, like I said before, it is like other modern films based off of music, right? Where it's not just about the music itself. It's not just about the joy of jazz or whatnot. There are fractured, flawed characters involved, behind the scenes, and we just kind of seeing how their lives kind of play out now. But it's just the passion that they have for the music is there, but at the same time they have to deal with, well, real life shit, right? And it's really hard. One film in particular I couldn't help but think of while I was watching this was, and just going back to Denzel Washington for a bit, More Better Blues. Remember that from
Oh,
1990?
right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
With him, with Denzel, Wesley Snipes, where it wasn't just about jazz music, it was about Denzel's, on again, off again relationship and how he had to take responsibility, him being upstaged by Wesley, and just all kind of stuff going on. This just meaning like this character piece about him trying to sort his life out. You know what I mean? Be a responsible man. And yeah, that's essentially what we got here with Andrew's character. You know what I mean? He is very much like the Denzel character of Mo Better Blues. You know what I mean? He has a lot a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage that he just has to sort
Right.
out and clear, right? You know what I mean? It's his daughter, it's his estranged wife, it's these guys trying to put him out of business, and it's Farid's debt and all these things, right? Um, and then at times it's just kind of like you kind of understand why it's hard for him to deal with it, but at the same time he just has this tendency of just locking people off, or he just saying, you
Right.
know what, I don't need you, that kind of stuff. There, so yes, he's a dick, but at the same time, you kind of understand why he is the way he is. So you're not supposed to hate him, but you're not supposed to really like him. You kind of have to sympathize and understand where he's coming from. very much like, many a Denzel Washington character, be performance that we've seen over the years. A case in point, Fences, right? Remember Fences that we talked about?
Yeah, the dad,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, where you're not supposed to hate the dad because, he's a dick, but at the same time, you kind of
He's a
have to
dick.
sympathize with him. Yeah, he is, right? But at the same time, it's like, I kind of feel sorry for you, Jed. I kind of do. And yeah, oftentimes I feel sorry for Elliot and what he's going through, but oftentimes he kind of put himself in hot water in the first place. You know what I mean? And just him trying to just clear those things out. So yeah, performance wise, I mean, Andre killed it to this. He was quite believable in his performance. Quite complex. Well, I should say, characterization of the show gets a lot of points. They're very flawed. They're very complex at the same time. And I like that a majority of these character acts don't end the way you'd expect them to. Like you think, oh, he's a drug addict, so he should die of an overdose. Nah, it's not that kind of shit, right? They live their lives, right? It's just a matter of them kind of deal with things and how they move on and whatnot, right? Same thing also too with Amanda Stenberg, who plays Julie, right? Like at first, I didn't really like her character at all. She just felt a little too not whiny, but bratish. You know what I mean? Just always running out, leaving school, just doing things she's not supposed to do. But throughout the duration of the season here, she kind of realized that okay, I need to start acting my age. You know what I mean? Stop doing childish stuff, and she becomes a better person out of it. That's all I'll say. And I like how each episode kind of zeroes in on certain members of the group, gives, fleshes them out, gives them, backstory and all that kind of stuff. And you understand why they are the way they are, and why, even though they're not making that much money, and even though Elliot can be a dick at times, they will still go back to the club. They will still play their music. They will still practice. They will still do stuff like that. There's also a subplot involving them being signed to a label, or possibly being signed to a label, them doing a album, and it's just little ups and downs with that too, right? So in a way, just like La La Land in a sense, and just like Whiplash extent, it's kind of like zeroing in on the modern musician, right? The modern jazz musician.
Yeah.
How do they deal with life, right? It's not like they're gonna be gigging it up every single night and going on tour all the time, right? You have to do what they have to do. They had to hustle just to live life and feed themselves and all that kind of stuff, right? So I like that the show was bold enough to not glamorize, the music and the musicians themselves. Also, with its Paris setting, I like the fact that they didn't really glamorize that as well. You know what I mean? Not saying that they
Right.
showcase Paris as this grim place, but they also didn't romanticize Paris neither, right? While there is, while love is in the air, and, you know what I mean? While you can go to restaurants and have fun and all that kind of stuff, of course, pre-COVID-19, um, there's also criminal activity as well. You know what I mean? There's also
Oh, yeah,
drug
yeah.
abuse and all that kind of stuff. So it doesn't paint Paris as this, what I mean, just as the greatest city in the world, but at the same time, it kind of
Right.
is. You know what I mean? You can understand why a guy like Elliot would go there and continue pursuing the music that he has followed all his life, and why he wants to stay there, why he doesn't want to go back to the States, and why he would want his daughter to stay there too. Um, it is quite well. I won't say it's an entirely dark show, but just like shows like Mo Better Blues and another show that came to mind, oddly enough, Saturday Night Fever. Remember that?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, where it's not gonna be a happy movie or a happy story with happy music that you dance to and you vibe to. There's some dark moments in it too, and yeah, the show has its fair share of dark moments. There's one scene in particular that instantaneously is reminded of a certain famous French movie called Cachet. Remember that?
Okay. Yeah. I've never seen that.
Um, wait, you never saw Cachet?
I don't have a memory of seeing that.
Okay, but yeah, Cachet, that would be Michael Haneke's film. All I'll say though, there's a moment, yeah, there's a moment in the show that is iconic, and when it happens, it's quite shocking, and it just flips the show upside down. That's all we'll see. It just kind of comes out of nowhere. But yeah, this is probably the most memorable moment of the show. They kind of do something like that in this movie here. Like when it happens, like yeah, this is straight up Kashi what happens here, right? But yeah,
Okay.
it kind of gets the ball rolling. It kind of shows that yeah, it's not just gonna be a drama. It's not gonna be dialogue heavy stuff. Yeah, there's gonna have its fair share of violence ever so often, but it's not overly violent, right? This is kind of a drawback with the show, but given the nature of the show, I kind of understand why it is what it is. It's a slow burn. Yeah, these
Okay.
8 episodes, the first 2 episodes in particular, clocking over an hour. So it's like about an hour and 8 minutes roughly. And those are the two directed by Damien Chazelle. But the others
Right.
clocking at near an hour. So I know for some people, yeah, they this will be a turn off for them. Um, so like in my case, it was kind of a challenge for me to binge through this, right? I actually kind of stopped at the 6th episode and watched the last two this morning times recording here, just because of how long these episodes are. And
Okay.
sometimes episode wise or story wise, it does kind of drag out quite a bit. You know what I mean? Moments kind of play out longer than they should. It's almost like they have to meet that hour long runtime just because, right? But
Yeah.
because it's going for this non-Hollywood, non-American thing, and yeah, you know what I mean, for people who kind of want a break from the traditional Hollywood American norm of movies and TV shows, yeah, this is very much European, not highbrow in a sense, but like yeah, you can understand why they want to be different, right? Also, last thing I just want to say before I get to reading here, I thought that the direction was strong in this. There's a very French New Wave aspect to things, with handheld
Right.
camera. It'll be a lot of long takes, especially like the first episode. This is long take that they do, seemingly long take. I thought that was really quite well done in my opinion. Not mind blowing, but
Okay.
well done, I should say, right? So yeah, Chazelle get points for that. But yeah, you know what I mean. You could kind of imagine this being some kind of French import that made its way to Netflix, but because it's Chazelle involved and because you have a few American actors involved, yeah, you have to understand that yeah, it's a co-production, so it's kind of like
Right.
the a majority of the best of what you would get from French cinema or French, I guess TV shows, but with a sprinkling of American stuff in it. And last
Okay.
last thing I want to say before I get to reading here, the music. I thought that the music was excellent to this. If you are a jazz fan or you just love to just if you just love laid back jazz cuts, then yeah, you'll enjoy the music in this. I thought that the songwriting was fantastic in this. If I'm not mistaken, a majority of the songs here are original compositions. So yeah, I thought songwriting was great and just the music, just the production involved, excellent, top tier in my opinion. But yeah,
Yeah.
so for me, I wasn't completely blown away by the Eddy. Not saying that there could have been more of it, not saying there could have been less of it, but it kind of is what it is, right? Um, and while I would say yes, it does, yeah, pacing wise, it is on the slow side of things. I really wish that things could have moved a little quicker, but like I said before, you know what I mean, it's just you know what I mean, we can't do things in the traditional Hollywood way, I guess that's right. But yeah, I mean, the show was what it was. Acting was great, music was great, the characterization was pretty solid, and yeah, you know what I mean, it's just a character piece or character pieces in this show. It's not groundbreaking or is not gonna change your mind as far as the future of TV shows go, but it is what it is, right? So if you're into that kind of thing, if you're into more slow dialogue heavy, emotionally heavy shows, then yeah, I mean, I would recommend giving the Eddie a look. But if you like things a little faster, a little bit more, I mean, a lot faster I should say, a little bit more visually stimulating and all that, um, and just a little bit more upbeat, then yeah, this is the show for you. So rating
Okay.
wise, give this a strong 3.5 out of like 4, man. I would say it's worth watching. I don't see myself personally, revisiting this in a hurry. And I'm not sure if we're gonna get a second season of it, because if I'm not mistaken, I think it is a mini series. I don't think we're gonna get a second season.
Okay. Okay.
Probably not. I can't really say. Even though, like I say, I don't want to spoil the ending, but they do kind of hint that there could be a second season, even though it they kind of doesn't need to be one, right? But I would say, yeah, give it a look if you're interested. Check out the trailer, I guess. If it looks like your thing, if it looks like your cup of tea, give it a look. But if you're not into slow-paced TV shows, and especially if you don't like to read subtitles, because I know there are people out there that just hate reading subtitles. Yeah, I really wouldn't recommend this one. But I would say last thing last, if you are definitely a jazz fan, yeah, give this a look, man. I assume if you know the ins and outs of jazz music, especially modern jazz music, could relate to what these characters are going through, right? So yeah, so not much more I could say. You know, what I mean, give it a look if you're interested. But if not, skip it.